Have you ever watched a movie and you found yourself still thinking about a phrase that you heard many years later? Because if so, same. This was I think like the mid 2010s. I still had cable and I saw it was We Bought a Zoo. Like it was the last couple of minutes. I still have not seen the full movie, but I saw the last couple of minutes. And apparently, I think it was Matt Damon as the main character, and apparently, he and his late wife, there was like something about it just takes 20 seconds of insane courage to get whatever you want. And that stuck with me because it's so true. I think that when you start focusing too much on the long term and on the entire goal, then you can start to get really overwhelmed and you can feel like, oh no, even if I finish blank, then I need to go do the next 10 things. And then you've never done enough in order to keep up with all the things that you need to do to make your goals happen. But really, it's just about putting one foot in front of the other. And usually, starting is the most terrifying part, which is why 20 seconds of insane courage can get you started, and then you're cruising from there. Like with these journal videos, I have been in my head about switching from recording them outside to now recording them inside because I liked the atmosphere of outside, but it's very cold and the sun is going down way too soon. I just spent the past couple of weeks serving as a juror, and it has been a lot for me to try and keep up with these while also keeping up with clients. And I have been building up in my head that recording inside and that this shift in journal content is a bigger deal than it is. And all it took is me finally just saying, screw it, Hale, click record, right on my little Buddha board with some water and watch as it gradually disappears. But this way I can have some text on my thumbnail, and I think it would be interesting. It's very zen if you like to doodle like me, because then the words just gradually disappear. And it anything that you want in life. Like I learned this rather early on, but I don't think that the lesson really drove home fully until I started to work for myself, like until I became a real estate agent. Because then part of your job is just getting rejected ultimately. And then when I started posting on YouTube and I started reaching out to places in order to do collaborations, then again, my job became to get rejected. And for every, 100 emails I send, maybe 95 of them don't respond. And maybe a couple of them that do respond, they pretty much just give you the I'll think about it type of energy. But then there's that one. And I would get so hype about that one because, yeah, sure, it took 100 times of the 20-second of insane courage, but then it pays off dividends. Like when I first became a real estate agent, I was very green when it came to commercial real estate, but I still reached out to a building owner that owned a 6,000 square foot space. And this was my first month of being a licensed agent. He knew that. He knew how green I was. He had rejected many, many past brokers, and yet he chose me. And I just remember having this moment of, holy crap. I was terrified to send that email because here I am, this green agent, reaching out to this building owner, and I I don't have the heart to fake it till I make it, in the sense that I will lie. And so I don't, to the point where I almost like like extra confess what level green I was to him. I even called this agent who helped who is now actually like the principal broker at the brokerage that I currently am. But I even called referred to him as like my senior agent, and I remember him saying to me like, "Haley, no, you're taking away your own power by referring to me as your senior agent." And I didn't even realize that, but he was so true, or that was so true. And even then, it has really changed my verbiage with clients. That entire experience changed so many things about my confidence, the 20 seconds get so much easier. It's terrifying at first, but the 20 seconds get so much easier the more you do it. And let me tell you, the 95 people that aren't going to respond, you're going to forget about them anyways. There might be a couple where you're like, oh, I would have really loved for that collaboration to happen, or I would have really loved to have gotten that client. But for the most part, it's just it was 20 seconds or 5 minutes that you took writing an email, maybe 20 minutes if you really researched the company or the person that you were reaching out to try and like, you know, prove that you're not just sending a generic cold email. And sometimes those would hurt more. But then at the same time, I would be like, I just wrote this person an incredibly thoughtful email that if they don't want to respond to it, that's fine. But I also know that I didn't get in my own way. And the knowing that I didn't get in my own way is the most valuable thing, which is why these 20 seconds of courage are so critical. Because all it takes is 20 seconds for me to not get in my own way. And I can do that. I'm doing that right now. You are watching me do that. And let me tell you, this is after I failed a few different times because I really struggle with using the back camera on my phone versus the front camera. And I was making things more complicated than it needed to be. And I was just like, hey, just use your front camera. Here we are. And so, because when I have my sessions with folks, I love to go down the question rabbit hole because that is the only way that you can grow as a person, in my opinion, is to question yourself until you understand what makes you tick. And so I have my handy dandy little journal. And my question for you today is, what are you avoiding doing that just takes 20 seconds of courage? 20 seconds, and it could change your life. That cold email for that commercial property, I got a $22 million contract out of that. I have a large consulting client out of that, a large long-term consulting client out of that. That particular client has ended up referring me multiple additional clients on top of him hiring me again multiple times. So that was one cold email. Just one. And yeah, I think that is it for today's video. So thank you for watching and have a great day.